Many times when we love our Juice Plus, we can't help but share it with other people. And sometimes we wonder, who am I going to share this with? Maybe past your close family and friends, you start to wonder, who else am I going to tell this to? And having shared Juice Plus for 14 years, I definitely can relate. You know, my family has all heard about Juice Plus. My closest friends had all heard about Juice Plus. So how do I find new people to share with? And it's all about making connections. And so I've written down some ways that I've collected from other successful Juice Plus representatives, and I wanted to know, what do they do to find more people to share Juice Plus with? And like I said, this is about making connections. So how do we connect with other people? I'm going to read off of this list. Here's some ideas that we have found to work. If you're sharing on Facebook, you want to friend your friend's friend. Does that make sense? Like pick, I don't know, 5 or 10 people a day and friend them. So you're looking at your friends and who are they friends with that are outside of the Juice Plus community. That's just going to expand your network. You can start conversations on Facebook via Messenger. So when you see someone that you've known from the past, you say, hey, what's going on? And you start a conversation with them. Often that will lead to more questions about them, and then they'll ask questions about you, and you can share with them what you're up to. You want to comment and like your friends' posts. That actually boosts you higher in your in other people's news feeds, especially if you get a lot of comments or likes on any of your posts. So to boost that again, you can comment on everybody's comment on one of your posts, and so that boosts it higher in the news feed, and more of your friends are going to see that. Here's some things about getting involved in your everyday life or in your community. Is really setting your mindset that you want to get involved, you want to engage in your community. So you can join different groups or studies at your church, or if there's even any in your community that you can be a part of. I love to invite people over to get to know them better. So I may have joined that group, but if I just go to the group and just attend, I'm really not going to make that deep of connections. And so what I want to do is invite them person by person to come over. Now I could invite them out to lunch somewhere, or we could go somewhere for coffee. But why not take advantage of what I have to offer by bringing them to my house for lunch, and they get to see my tower garden. I can make them a salad for my tower garden. You don't think that's going to start a conversation? It absolutely does. So what about in the morning? Instead of doing coffee, I'll invite them over for smoothies. And so we'll make a smoothie. I'll make some healthy muffins. And of course, they're going to ask, so what's in this smoothie? Or I'll say, you know, it's all plant-based, and kind of talk to them about that. And they'll end up asking questions about it. They get to try it. They love it. It's already a win-win. So the conversation is already easy to get going from that point. I want to encourage you to volunteer somewhere that brings you joy. I know at first I thought, I can't volunteer somewhere where I don't have time. I've got to do this business. But what I found is it brought joy to my heart. It lifted my spirits, and I found a connection with other people there. I didn't do it for that reason, but in getting to know them, they got to know me. They know what I'm about. And then Juice Plus was a natural part of our conversations, or as I heard their need, I offered Juice Plus as a possible solution to them. So ask to serve in a group or help in a group versus just attending. If I'm just going to a mom's group, I can show up right on time, or I can go early and just start asking, is there anything I can help with? Having been on a steering committee for a mom's group before, anytime somebody would come and ask for if they could help, I mean, nobody did that. So to do that really sets you apart and helps people see that you have a servant-minded spirit about you. And especially if you can be in a place where you start to greet and meet the other ladies that are coming in, you're going to get to know their name better. They see your face. So out and about in conversation, it's easier to start a conversation with them because, okay, now I can ask them what they thought of that last meeting or what they got out of it. It's just going to help generate conversations. Start conversations with people in your everyday life, just like I said. But that may be like even at the grocery store or in the vitamin aisle at Walmart. You just never know where an opportunity is going to be had. One time I went into a store and I was asked, in just conversation, I mentioned that I had my own business, and she asked me about it, and I talked to her. It led to conversation about Juice Plus, and now she and her daughters are a great team. So you just never know. If you're open and friendly to start conversations and reciprocate the questions back to them, it can lead to some very great things. Put yourself in front of people. Like Sharon always tells us, get out of your car versus staying in the carpool line. Find a place to actually interact or engage with people versus just staying where it's comfortable. You can set up a booth at a craft fair, a health fair, a fitness expo, or some sort of school function. I actually heard about Juice Plus at a trade show, so they do work. It just takes some serious follow-up. You can host weekly salad jar events. So that's an event that we call, I can't think of the word right now, but it's like has another benefit to that person for coming. So you're helping serve them by giving healthy lunches, and then through that the conversations can happen. It may not be a Juice Plus presentation, it's a value added event. That's what I was trying to think of. So think of this as a way to serve them and get the information in their hands just through conversation. You can join a local networking group. Just look around and see if you have one. I actually started one in this area because there really wasn't one that I liked, and it's going well, and it's increasing the network of people that I have. I can give you information about that too. Now this sounds crazy, but change your hairdresser or your dentist. Now I've moved around the country a lot, so maybe changing a dentist isn't that big of a deal to me, because I'm gonna have to do it anyway in a couple of years, or even hairdressers. But if I'm with a hairdresser and I talk to her about Juice Plus and I talk to her about Juice Plus and she's just not interested, she won't make a decision, I'm not committed to her, I haven't married her, I can find somebody else. Somebody can cut my hair. And oftentimes I have found customers that way, even team members that way. So just think about that, even with your dentist or whoever you do business with. I want to do business with people who are going to do business with me. So if I don't like one person that's providing service and they're just not interested, then I can find somebody else, and it increases the people that I have to connect with. But how I mentioned earlier when I was talking with the lady and she asked me what I do, I want to encourage you to toss out curiosity statements into your introduction about yourself. If you're ever going around a room and you get to introduce yourself and what you do or something about you, or in conversation, you can just toss this curiosity statement out. So a couple of them that I have found is just mentioning I work from home, or that I run my own business, or I help people with their nutritional needs. But don't say I sell Juice Plus. Like, please don't say that. It kills the curiosity and it's just not going to help. So you want to build curiosity when people are asking what you do. And then if you ask enough questions, they're going to ask you questions. So you want to ask people questions to find out what their need is, and then you share Juice Plus as a possible solution to them. So you really need to know your story, and you want to relate it back to their problem. How has Juice Plus impacted your life? What excites you about that change and that impact? How is your life different now that you're on Juice Plus? Why are you taking it? Why do you plan to take it in the future? Those are things that are going to excite somebody else about your story. You really need to lock into the feelings that you had before. You want to paint a picture of the before, and then the process of learning about it, and then now that you're on it and why you're going to take it forever. And then again, you're trying to tie it back to things that they may have said in that conversation as you're making a connection. All of these things will help to expand your network of people that you can share with, and it's a skill that's developed over time, but you have to just continually keep putting yourself out there. So hopefully this has been able to help you as well.